heroes, I'm Amy Johnston. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Thank you so much for sticking around with me and watching these past episodes. It really means a lot to me. We've learned a lot of different things throughout these past episodes, but we haven't yet touched on tricking or gymnastics basics, so that is what this episode is here for. I have an incredible guest on today, so let's get started with the next episode of Hero Training. Meet the incredible Thekla Hutyrova.
Hey guys, so great to be here.
You are so talented, so I'm excited to have you share some of your awesome techniques with the audience. We are in Reseda, California at Joining All Movement Gym, also known as JAM, one of the world's most popular gyms for martial artists, stunt performers, trickers, dancers. It's an incredible gym.
Everything.
Yeah. So what are we doing today?
So today we're gonna start with some basic tricking, including like tricking kicks and tricking transitions, as well as later we're gonna do a nunchuck form combo thing, teach you some tricks, and yeah, let's get started.
Sounds good. Yeah, okay,
let's do it.
Cool.
So we're gonna start kind of slowly. We're gonna start with the simpler things to kind of warm our bodies up into what we're doing. Usually when I start to do stuff, I just kind of like warm up, swing my arms back and forth, maybe do some arm circles, and then I'll do like a pike. And then my favorite thing ever is to do just axe kicks. So what you do is your legs stay straight and you flex your toes. That extends the bottom of your leg. So then you just kick straight up and down. And that kind of just like jars your leg into stretching nicely. So do like 4 or 5, 10, whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, one more, 5, nice. You can do it with pointed toes too. Like it's a prettier kick that way, but the flexing really helps with that stretch. So now that we're kind of limbered up, let's do some front kicks.
Okay.
So all kicks have what's called a chamber. That's when you bend your leg before you kick and then after you kick as well. That's important for various reasons we don't need to go into. So bring your knee up, extend your leg out, bring your knee back in, put your leg back down. That's your basic front kick, right? So 1, let's do like 3, 2, 3. Good, let's switch sides and 1, 2, and 3. Awesome. Round kicks are next. Basically, it's the same thing, but when your knee comes up, you keep following your knee and turn your body sideways, then extend your leg. So it looks like this. 1, good, 2, and 3. And if that's too hard, you can put your leg down in front. That's a lot easier, so let's do that on this side.
Yeah.
Ready? 1, put your leg down and step back. Yeah. 2, 3. It's almost like that's part of the warm-up. Yeah. Great, now let's get into jumping. So one knee comes up, you're gonna switch knees, and then you're gonna kick. When you do that all together, it looks like this, and that's called a skip front kick. Let's do like 2, front kick, 1, nice, and 2, awesome. Other side, see if you can challenge yourself to do it. 1, and 2, nice, awesome. Same idea, skip round kick.
Cool.
For this one, we're gonna start with the same fighting stance as we did before. When this knee comes up, everything's still the same. When it comes back, you're gonna pull your knee back and turn your body to the side. Your foot for round kick should always be pivoted to the back. So if I'm going this way, if I do my round kick, I want my foot facing away from where I'm kicking. That's really important for your knee, and it also just makes the kick better. Because if your foot's pinned forward, you can't really, it doesn't look good. And then if you do it too hard, you're gonna end up hurting your knee and twisting it, right? So you don't wanna do that. Just a really good like safety precaution for everyone. So knee comes up, we turn, extend that leg out for a round kick. A little faster, nice. And other side, 1, good, and 2, awesome. This leads us into tornado kick, which looks like this, right? So all we're doing is adding like a 180 spin before we do that skip round kick. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start on, I usually start right leg in front because I like turning left And I'm right-handed, so that doesn't really make a difference with that. It's just which way you like spinning. So start with your right leg in front. You're gonna turn your shoulders, look over your left shoulder, and then bring your knee straight up to the front. And then switch and kick. Notice I said bring your knee straight out to the front. You don't want to bring your knee up to the back or anywhere sooner, because then you're gonna have to jump and spin with that knee up already, and it's just a lot harder. So again, turn over your shoulder, bring your knee up to point to the front, switch and kick.
Nice.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a good way to learn that.
There's various different ways. There's like, you can cross your legs, you can step over. If you're finding that you have trouble with it, stepping across and trying to travel helps a lot. So instead of being in place and doing it, step over and travel a bit, and that momentum kind of helps you bounce a little better with that. Nice. So that's it for our basic kicks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome, girl.
Great, so now let's get into some of the more acrobatic movements. We'll start with a little warm-up, more of a tumbling warm-up, and then get into aerials and our tricking transitions.
Yeah.
First thing I do is just basic forward rolls. Just like hands down, tuck your chin. Make sure that you're off of your head, so go to your shoulders. So you shouldn't hit the floor unless you're like right here. So go all the way over, shoulders hit the ground, and then you roll nice and smooth. Go ahead and, yes, yay. Perfect, just like that. Stand up all the way every time. I'll do those like maybe 3 there and back, depending on where I am. And then we do handstand forward rolls. So for handstand forward rolls, you just want to let yourself fall a little further and then roll. If you're in your handstand and you just roll right away, you're kind of gonna crumple on yourself. So if you're in a handstand, you wanna wait, tip over a little more, and then let yourself roll. So handstand, and then forward roll. See how she waited? That was beautiful. Look at that. Frickin' pro, awesome. Last thing is cartwheels. So I do more of a gymnastics cartwheel. Some people just like throw them sideways and stuff. That's fine. Doing them starting in a lunge, facing the way you want to go with both hands up and reaching out really far, making them nice and straight, I think really actually helps for tricking as well, because you get a lot more power out of your cartwheel going forward and getting that torque than starting it sideways. And I think they just look better too. So start facing forward in a nice lunge. You're gonna reach really far and then make it long. Boom. And then end facing the back. So whichever way you started.
And how do people put their hands?
Yes. So you could just put your hands sideways. What I do for my tumbling is I put one hand down sideways facing like in the direction of the cartwheel. The other one comes around and faces the back. So if I'm over, I'm gonna be right here and see if that works. I'm gonna put one hand sideways and one all the way across. So we're here, and they end up in this weird like shape. And what that does is that really just makes sure that your body is facing the back by the time you come out of it. It's good for round-offs, it's good for tumbling, because you can really get that power. Aerials are next, so that looks like this. There's 2 versions of aerials. There's a gymnastics one and a martial arts one. Basically, people call them different things, but that's what it is. Gymnastics one, you start facing forward, you go all the way over, and you're upside down the whole time, then you come up. That one's a lot harder and takes like years of practice. This one's a little easier. So what we do is we start in, oh great, yeah. So what we do is we start just like when you're doing cartwheels as a little kid. You like put your hand down and then you jump in a circle, right? And then you start kicking up higher and higher. So we're gonna do the same thing, but without your hands, because aerials are cartwheels without hands. So you're gonna not use your hands. You're gonna put your chest to your knee. Make sure the top of your head is facing the ground, and keep it there. You can use your arms a bit to move you in a circle if you want, and then jump in a circle. Right? Now, what's really important once you start jumping higher and higher, because what you want to do after that is kick your legs higher over your head, and then make it upside down. So what you don't want to do is a lot of times when people jump, their whole body jumps up. So you're going to be here, and then you want to jump up. And that's not good, because obviously your head needs to stay down. So when I do aerials, my head stays in the same position. My legs just come over. So as soon as I dip down, my head just stays there. Right? It kind of just stays in that one spot, and then your legs kick over. So that's something to really focus on. Make sure you're not lifting your head when you do your aerials.
Great. So after that first movement for them to practice, how do they transition into like kicking their legs higher? Is it just like inch by inch?
Yes, basically it's inch by inch. And then to get a little more power, there's different things to do. So once you're comfortable down here and starting and kicking up, you can start standing up. Make sure your chest still gets to your knee, and then you go. So like take your time, go down, and then kick. And then that helps you get a little more power because you're already going into it. Then you can also add a back step into it. With that step, you're gonna start with your opposite leg in front. You're gonna take a big back step with your hand up. Make sure your shoulders and your hips almost are facing where you're gonna go. Chest comes to the knee, and then you do your aerial. To make sure that your body's doing all of these minute steps, do it slowly at first, and then you can get into it. So it looks like this. And then you just get more power with the more steps you do. So now the tricking transitions, we're gonna breeze through these kind of quickly. Try to keep up. So if you cartwheel with your left leg in front, that's your tricking direction, that's your spinning direction. So that's the way we're gonna go for both of these things. For scoot, if you go left, you're gonna start facing the right on your knee. And you take your hand, flip it backwards, put it down. Now transfer your weight to your arm and lift your back leg. Just like that, yeah, very nice. So that's exactly what's gonna happen, and then this leg is gonna end up all the way in front of you. So pick a spot right in front of you. As you transfer that weight, the back leg comes down. It's a transition move, so you can go like from a hook kick down into it, do some other stuff after it. Let's go spin hook kick, leave your body facing that way, scoot, step through, and then we'll do our aerial. All right, so the whole combo looks like this. And that's like a nice little flow. If you play it back, there's a lot of intricacy in it if you want to try to get that. All right, so let's move on to spindles. They're basically like cartwheels, but they're not like cartwheels. You'll see. So what you do, you put your weight on your right leg. If you're gonna go left, you're gonna put your weight on your left leg. This leg is gonna go away, and the opposite hand is gonna go right there. So you're gonna make a nice line right here, and then you're gonna do that. Right? After that, you're gonna do the same thing with the other leg. So one leg, other leg.
What the heck?
And then you're gonna put a little bit more speed into it and spin all the way around. So that one we landed facing 180. Now we're gonna land facing 360. So you're gonna go step, 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 step. What I sometimes do with people, my students and everything, I put little tape marks on the ground. They put their feet right there, and that's basically where their hands and their feet end up. So you put your hands there, and then put your feet there. And then once you've got that, you can kind of do them more in a row. So you're just here, and you look like a little monkey. But it's a good way to really get the flow of it. Now, what I meant by they're not cartwheels, but they are cartwheels, we're gonna demonstrate that by giving you guys a combo. So you're gonna do cartwheel, spindle, cartwheel. And you're gonna notice that your weight has to be on a different leg for your spindle and your cartwheel. So you're gonna go cartwheel, spindle, cartwheel.
Mine confusing.
It's weird, right? Yeah. So do you trick right?
Yeah.
You do, good. So for you, weight is on the right leg, and then the weight has to be on the left leg so your right leg can go away. And then your weight has to be on your right leg again. Yeah. So you can play around with that. With tricking, anything goes. You can make up your own combos. There's a whole bunch of different moves we just gave you, and an even more like infinite amount of combos you can do. So play around with that. Try to come up with like 3 to 7 move combos. See what you guys come up with.
And be safe.
Yeah.
You're not going to become Thekla Hutyrova in 5 minutes, but start with the basics.
Start with the basics.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's time for nunchucks. All right, so these are Matt Emig nunchucks. We'll post a link to the website if you want to get them. I think they're like the best nunchucks ever, especially for what we do. So you'll notice they have a shorter chain that makes them easier to spin around and easier to handle, right? So they kind of spin a little faster, they bounce off your body quicker than if there's a long chain. So they're not as traditional, but they're cool and they go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's gonna teach us how to be cool and go fast.
Exactly,
Yeah.
which is super fun. So the first thing we're gonna do is called an L strike. It looks more like a triangle. You're gonna start with one nunchuck all the way up. You're gonna go across your body. You're gonna go back, and you're gonna come up. So hip, hip, shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder, hip, hip, shoulder, hip, hip, hooray! So 2 important things to remember. Make sure you hold your nunchucks at the top, right next to the chain. And make sure when you're doing these movements where you're hitting the chuck against your body, you're not using the nunchuck itself to hit you, you're using your own hand. So it bounces off with your hand. It's a lot smoother that way, and then you're not gonna get giant bruises from these things. Exactly, so we did the right hand, let's do the opposite side. So comes up, you can use your other hand up here as a guard, and it gets it out of the way too. So across, hip, up, across, hip, up. Now, to make this really cool, remember that these are all strikes. That's a strike, this is a strike, and that can be a strike, right? Usually I only emphasize 1 when I do it. I go 1 or 1, 2, whatever. But they are strikes, so you want to reach out instead of staying in here, keeping your elbows in tight. That doesn't look as effective. So now we're gonna put it together. Basically what we do, 1 goes across into your hip, and then they switch. Hip, switch, hip, switch, hip, switch, and I'm sure you're gonna have writing on the page that says exactly that, hip switch. After you get that, they kind of just follow each other. So as one's going, so's the other one. You can get in a nice stance, you can step, you can spin, whatever you wanna do, okay? So that's the L strike. Next, we're gonna do just simple strikes. You can do simple strikes with 1 hand, you can do simple strikes with 2. Basically, all you do is they come up, and they reach out, and then they come to your hip. Again, you're touching your hip with your arms, not letting the nunchucks bang against you. You can switch, step, all of that. The cool thing with simple strikes is you can come up with an infinite amount of possibilities. So you can go across, you can just do 1, you can switch them, you can hit under your leg, whatever, right? So then we can play with that. And then the next thing we're gonna do is figure 8s. You can start with just 1 nunchuck. It's hard enough with 1, and then you can try the other hand later. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make a big infinity sign with your arm. Your whole arm is gonna make a nice infinity. You can have your other hand up, boom, great. Once you have this, isolate your elbow and just let your elbow do the infinity sign. Then you go to your wrist. And you can do it in front of you, you can do it out, you can do it down, whole bunch of different places, right? So the main thing with nunchucks is you're trying to keep this other part flowing really smoothly. So sometimes the slower you go and the more intention you have with which direction you want to go in, the better. If it's kind of wobbling around, it's because you're probably trying to go too fast or you're not smooth enough.
Yeah, great.
Try that with the other hand, have fun with that. One more thing, a really cool trick that everyone seems to like, we're gonna do a wrist roll. So you're gonna start it, positive side grip, you're gonna have the nunchuck hanging upside down. If you kind of swing it back and forth, you'll notice the timing. When it comes up is when you wanna roll it over your wrist and catch it in the other hand. So basically what it's doing is it's rolling over your wrist, and then as it comes around, you catch the other side. With these ones, if you hold it too close and choke it, it's just gonna bounce off your hand. So what you wanna do is you wanna find that sweet spot. If your hand is bigger, you might wanna be a little further down the chuck, and then that'll let it roll over very nicely. So you'll just find where that is. There's 2 wrist rolls. You go one way, let it bounce up, and then you can kind of let it swing again, and then you can go the other way. So nice and fast, and you can just kind of keep trying that one. There's a lot of different places you can do wrist rolls. You can do them in combos. I don't even know if you can see that. You can do them in like different directions, and you can do them like going up and down. So once you get that, then a more advanced thing would be to start putting them into different movements.
Great, and doubles as well.
Yeah, and doubles. You can do them with doubles, exactly. So let's make up a really short little combo for you guys.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, and then, yeah, go practice. So let's start. We're gonna X down, nice and strong. Let's start with our L strikes. We're gonna go one way, other way. We're gonna bring our nunchucks up and go down, open, cross, open. You can spin, and then go down. So for that spin, let's keep it super simple. There's a bunch of different ways you can spin, but we'll keep it super simple. So we'll go here, we'll spin with them here, and then we're gonna bring them up to our shoulder, and then hit down. From there, you guys can do your L strikes, you guys can do whatever, not L strikes, your figure eights, your hand rolls, and then whatever you do, make sure you finish nice and strong, and make sure you catch them, right? This looks silly, that looks better.
Very strong.
Yeah, so let's do that combo one more time. Ready? X, down, L strike one way, L strike the other way, boom, nice. All the way up, one, open, close, up, down, spin, up, boom, and then let's finish strong, bah. Yeah? Yeah. Same thing with tricking. These can be combined in infinite combinations and infinite ways, so just have fun with it, see what you come up with. I sometimes play a game where you write down specific moves on little like pieces of paper, fold them up, put them in a bowl, pick out like 5 in that order, do those moves, see if they work. It's really cool to try to come up with ways that you can make it work, because some of those transitions don't work.
Yeah.
So it's a cool little game if you want to do that. Hey guys, so remember with all of this training, you really have to support your body and make sure it's recuperating well. So drink a lot of water, eat good food, you know, lots of fruits and vegetables and like leafy greens, and everyone knows what good food is by now. So really look into that and sleep a lot. And then your risk of injury goes down, you're not as sore, everything just gets way better. So support your bodies and have fun training. Have fun with it.
Ladies and gentlemen, wait, how do I say your last name?
Hutyrova.
Got it.
It's like who, like an owl, and then tea, like you drink tea, and then row a boat, and then va is like go in French. I've thought about this, I've broken it down.
Okay, got this. And the top. Jump attack.
So here's how we do a running jump. You have to switch.
Oh my God. To your left.
Party time. Again, we're gonna go left if you're.
Hey.
Hi. Yay. Good. Yes.
Next time on Hero Training.
Thank you so much for watching another episode of Hero Training. Now, I know there was a lot of content in this episode and you may feel overwhelmed, but understand that Thekla has been, doing martial arts and tricking and gymnastics her whole life, and these things take time. So please take one move at a time, practice, be safe, and don't get overwhelmed. You can always go back to the episode, put it in slow motion, or, just rewatch it a bunch of times. That's going to help you as well. And I want to mention to those who haven't signed up for the giveaway contest yet to go and do that quickly before May 7th. Also, I'm really excited for the release of my book. This is my first book, and I have so many incredible people in it, and I'm so thankful for everyone that put their time into this book. If you're enjoying Hero Training, you will absolutely love this book. I'm really excited to bring it to you. There's so much incredible insight and advice from really some of the top Hollywood stunt professionals in the business, whether they're still doing stunt work or they're directors, second unit directors, stunt coordinators, actors. There's so much information in this book, and I'm so excited to bring it to you very soon. So that is all for now. Keep training hard, and like I said, take one thing at a time. Don't get overwhelmed. Everything comes in time. Hard work, dedication, and be smart about it, okay? Please don't forget to subscribe and share this video. Thanks, everyone. That's it for now. Until next week. Kick ass and stay classy.